I had friends, family trying to contact her, send her messages, uh, to tell her, "Hey, Steven wants to see his son." We are allowed video visits. Video. She doesn't have to go up there. She can just video chat. Even if it was once while I was incarcerated, that would have been good. But no, she kept them away from me. Even after I was in jail, after I got out, I'm sending her messages, and come to find out, she's been having the same number. So she's been getting my messages, my pleas, my begging.
Please unmute and turn on your cameras.
No, sir. No, sir. It's Stephen Albert Martinez. I am the father. Everardo is my son.
Oh, okay. I'm just going by my list. My list might be has a little problem today. So,
I'll include that in my opening, Your Honor.
Ms. Saavedra, I'm still waiting on you to unmute.
Yes.
All right. Do you both swear the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Corey, go ahead.
Your Honor, this is an acknowledgement of paternity that we have filed before the court. For an abundance of clarity, I will read the names of the parties, including the names of the children, into the record, just to keep everything consistent. The name that we have listed on our petition for the non-custodial parent is Stephen Albert Martinez. The custodial parent, the mother, is Dulce Maria Saavedra, and the child in this case is Everardo Martinez. That is a stipulation I think everyone can agree to. I will read the other stipulations into the record. Both parties deny family violence. Both parties are in agreement that the child should remain on government medical. Both parties are in agreement to be named joint managing conservator, with the mother designating the primary residence in Dallas and contiguous counties. Parties stipulate on a net income for the father of $1,714. There is no request for retroactive support. Court cost is billed to the father. The other issues are in dispute. I will now call the mother. Ma'am, can you state the name? Ma'am, can you state your full name?
Dulce Maria Saavedra.
And ma'am, can you state the name of the child in the case?
It would be Everardo Albert Martinez.
And how old is he?
He's a year and a half.
And he lives with you?
Yes.
And you do not live with Mr. Stephen Martinez, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you guys are not married, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But at the time, around the time that the child was born, you guys filled out a paper called an acknowledgement of paternity, declaring that Mr. Stephen Martinez, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, did you hear all of the agreements I read into the record?
The ones that you had just said, yes.
Yeah, just those.
Okay.
Did you hear those?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, perfect. And let's talk about and are those still your agreements?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now let's talk about the contested issues, which are child support, medical support, and some non-disclosure and some visitation, okay? Ma'am, the state has calculated child support at $343. Are you okay with that?
That is fine.
Okay. And ma'am, the state has calculated medical support for Medicaid at $195. Are you okay with that?
That is fine.
Okay. And ma'am, do you want your address to remain private from the court record and from the father?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us why.
The reason why is just I feel like him knowing that address, he's just gonna come unannounced just to come see his child. You know, obviously I'll respect his visitation rights with the agreement that will be placed today. However, I don't need him to just come up unannounced. That's my main concern.
Okay. And just some follow-up questions on that. Does the father currently know where you live?
No.
Okay. And ma'am, earlier you heard me announce that you guys were denying family violence. Has there been family violence?
No,
Okay, good, good. And has the father ever shown up unannounced before?
no.
Okay. And ma'am, besides the reasons that you just testified to, is there any other reason why you wouldn't want the father to have your address?
He's already had history before being violent in other occasions. Um, I just,
Okay.
with his past behaviors, I don't want it to be something in the future where I have to confront with that. That's the main reason.
And ma'am, I have to go into, since you're testifying about violence, who has the father been violent towards?
He's spoken with me before about how he's had violence with previous people, family members, and all that. And that's just obviously past behaviors can be repeated again. And so, and he has a demeanor and where he gets very argumentative, confrontational, and he starts to raise his voice, which I'm not comfortable with.
Okay. And ma'am, has the police ever been called before for anything, any incidents between you guys?
No.
Okay. And ma'am, you understand I'll ask him about your testimony in just a second, okay?
Hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, what type of visitation have you guys been doing in this past year and a half?
None.
None? Okay, when was the last time that the father saw the child?
The last time he saw him was on the day he was.
The mother confirms no visits in a year and a half. None. He was incarcerated from when the baby was barely a month old until late October or November.
Born. The day we signed that agreement, the acknowledgement of paternity. The reason why he has not been able to see him for this long period is that he was incarcerated from maybe when he wasn't even a month. He was incarcerated from probably mid-January to October, November. That's the main reason why he hasn't seen him. Obviously.
Okay, so the baby's a year and a half.
Mhm.
Out of that time, how many months? And sir, and Mr. Martinez, it's not appropriate for you to not
I'm
wave your finger
I'm
at
sorry.
the
I'm
camera.
sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll
Yes, ma'am.
we'll get to your testimony in just a second. You'll have a
I
chance to answer
apologize.
all
I
of.
apologize. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Ma'am, your testimony is that a year and a half the child is, right?
Mhm.
Okay, out of those months, what testimony of the months that the father was incarcerated?
Can you repeat that? I kind of cut off on my end.
Okay, I'll move on. I'll move on. Okay. Ma'am, would you be okay with the standard possession order where the father would have the chance to visit with the child the first, third, and fifth weekends of the month?
That is fine. Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, is it true that you want the exchange locations to be at the McDonald's on 3285 Broadway Boulevard, Garland, Texas?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, ma'am, is there anything else that the judge should know about your case so that he can rule in your favor?
Um. Uh. All I know is that I'm just a mom trying to take care of his kid, and I understand that his dad wants to see him and all that, which is why I'm agreeing with the visitation rights. Um. I just want the best for my kid and, for him to be safe in a healthy environment.
Okay, thank you. I now call the father, Stephen Martinez. Can you restate your name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Stephen Albert Martinez.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I know we are not in agreement on a few things, okay? I know that. But did you hear the parts that we were in agreement with that I announced earlier?
Yes.
Okay, those parts only, are you still in agreement to?
And no, I want to have my son every weekend.
No, sir, I didn't talk about visitation yet. So the agreements were that there hasn't been family violence. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I do agree.
Okay, and you agree that you and the mom are going to be joint conservators, both making decisions over the child's life?
Yes, ma'am.
And you agree
Uh,
that the mother's primary residence should be in Dallas and surrounding counties?
yes, ma'am.
And you agree that your income, after we factor in some things, your net income is $1,714?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Do you have any private insurance for your child?
Not at this moment.
Okay, but so you're in agreement that the child should remain on government medical, is that okay?
That is fine at the moment. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, understood. All right, now let's get into the contested issues. Sir, what type of visitation do you want for this child
Every weekend. Every weekend.
every weekend? Okay. Um, and sir, you understand that under the standard possession order, if you and the mother agree to every weekend in the future that you could do that, but in case you don't agree, then it's the first, third, and fifth weekend. Knowing that, do you agree to the standard possession order, or are you still asking for every weekend visitation?
Uh, I'm understandable to that, but if she fights it, and all I can do is agree to it right now, but later I will get a lawyer to fight that. But right now, I am in agreement.
You're in agreement with the standard possession order having visitation the first, third, and fifth weekends?
Yes, ma'am. Well, if right now, I guess I have no choice. Yes, ma'am, I do.
Well, sir, you understand that you're representing yourself today. Do you understand that?
Yes, today because
Uh,
I don't have the right income to buy a lawyer. So right now,
Okay,
I do not have a lawyer. I understand that.
okay. And you understand that there is a judge here for you to convince if you want every weekend. You understand that, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just as long as you understand. Sir, the state has calculated child support in the amount of $343. Is that okay?
That is too much for way little for what I'm getting started on. I just like like I said, I just got out of jail. I'm trying to get my feet. I'm trying to get back to
The address. He refuses to agree to it being private. Says there's no proof of violence. Says his past has nothing to do with who he is now. And now the courtroom energy shifts. The judge starts digging deeper.
getting a normal job. Right now, the job that I have, it's not that great pay. I am looking for another job. I do plan on quitting so that I can uh, better myself. Also, for have a better future for my son.
What would you like child support to be set at?
So if it can be at 200, 250, that'll be acceptable. And that'll leave me with an extra $200 a week, a month for myself.
Okay, what about medical support? The state had asked for $195. Are you okay
I
with
would
that?
No, ma'am. I would like for her to pay half because since she's been having them, I don't know. I don't know if he's been taken care of. I don't know if she's feeding them junk. I don't know if whoever she's got taken care of got other kids that are around that are sick. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I am in the dark
And
right now.
understood, sir, but you know it's against the law for someone receiving Medicaid to be charged for Medicaid, so we don't want to violate the law. Is that correct?
Okay, that's understand. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what would you like medical support to be set at if not $195?
$100.
Okay. And sir, you heard the mother's testimony about her address being private. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you in agreement for the mother's address to remain private from you in this court record?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and what is your response to her concerns?
and she doesn't have proof, or she doesn't have. I have no police records of any assaults, any and aggravations. Anything that she's used against me is my past. This has nothing to do with me now. I've been on my own for a long time. So whatever she's talking about is when I was a child. Now as a grown
Okay.
man.
Let's clear up a little bit about your history. You were previously incarcerated, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, but that has nothing to do
Okay,
with no violence and no
understood. I'm just
aggression.
trying to figure out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just, and it was for a nonviolent offense, is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what
Non-violent.
I'm, okay. And when were you released, sir? Just to be clear.
I was released and like she said, October. I think it was November. November it was. Yes, ma'am.
And is it true that you haven't seen the child since the child was born?
Yes, ma'am. But while I was incarcerated, I had friends. I had friends, family trying to contact her, send her messages, uh, to tell her, "Hey, Steven wants to see his son." We are allowed video visits. Video. She doesn't have to go up there. She can just video chat. Even if it was once while I was incarcerated, that would have been good. But no, she kept them away from me. Even after I was in jail, after I got out, I'm sending her messages and I bumped into her. When I bumped into her, I had to make her, hey, I didn't touch her or anything because she was still in her car. I said, hey, get your phone right now and call me because I want your number to see how my son is. And come to find out, she's been having the same number. So she's been getting my messages, my pleas, my begging to see my son, to see how he is. And all she did was just send me two measly pictures of him. And that's all she did. She didn't communicate with me. She didn't say, hey, he's okay. But yeah, I'm trying so hard. I just want to see my son.
Okay, sir. Thank you for that. Just one last question. I know you've already provided extensive testimony, but if there is anything else, like I said, you're representing yourself. Is there anything else that you think that is relevant that the judge should know regarding this case?
Uh, No, ma'am. No, nothing else that I no,
Okay.
nothing else. I am on the track. I do have my apartment. Unfortunately, I have a beat up car that you see me in. It's a beat up car that I had a good friend.
Incarceration was nonviolent. Released in November. Hasn't seen the child since birth. And that's when he breaks through emotionally. He says even while incarcerated, he tried to reach her.
Allow me to pay partial payments so that I can be able to. So he's like, here, man, here's a car so that you can sooner or later, pick up your son, be with your son. And so I do have help. I do have some help, but
Okay,
but
that's
yeah,
good. Thank you so much.
but
I pass as witness.
Okay, I just have one question for you before I enter ruling. Mr. Martinez, are you a Dallas County resident?
Garland, in Garland, I stay in
Okay,
Garland.
that's in Dallas
Yes,
County, right?
yes, yes.
Okay, we have a program called Choices that can help you look for work. I know you're working right now a little bit. I don't know how many hours a week you're working, but that's something I can order you into, and then you can meet with the person today before you leave court today, and they may be able to help you with finding another job rather than you quitting. I don't know if it'll be higher paying. Hopefully, obviously, you wouldn't want to go to a lower paying job, but I have to order you into that program if that's something you want to do. And then they're required to look for work. That's going to be, I don't know if that'll work because you're working right now, but is that something that you're interested in to see if it can help you?
No, it's fine. I've already went and applied at. I had to make a resume, and I've already talked to a staff agency, and they told me they have an opening. I'm just like I said, I'm gonna quit, but to get a better job. So I have that in action already. I'm already taking my steps on what I need to do for my son.
Okay, well, this could be an extra help, but you don't want that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and enter my ruling. Y'all have agreed there's been no family violence. I cannot include other allegations, Ms. Saavedra. You are required to let him know where you live. Both of you are required to let each other know where you live and your phone numbers. That's an obligation that you have. Anytime that you move or change phone numbers, you need to share that information with the other party. So I'm not granting your non-disclosure request. I cannot base it on some other allegation that have nothing to do with you two. Um, we're doing government medical, since neither one of you have private insurance at a reasonable cost. At this time, y'all agreed to joint managing conservatorship and no back child support. For visitation, we're not doing every weekend. That's unreasonable. Mr. Martinez, whatever lawyer you want to get, they're going to tell you that you're wrong. No judge is going to give you every weekend visitation. That's just not practical. Most people work Monday through Friday. Mr. Brother wants to spend the weekend with her child half the time, and you're going to get the other half the time. You don't get to spend every weekend. That's not something that any lawyer is going to help you get. That's no judge is going to be convinced to give you other weekend. So don't even think about threatening Miss Saavedra with that, because that's not going to happen. Basically, y'all going to split every other weekend is what we're going to be doing for visitation. And since you haven't had any visitation, I do want to start off with some a little shorter visitation before we go into the full weekend. For the first four visits, it'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it'll be about 4 hours for 4 visits. So when y'all start off the first 4 weekends, it'll be just the 4 hours. And that's just because the child is very young. Obviously, there hasn't been visitation before. I don't want to shock the child. I'm not trying to punish you and limit your visitation, but I just want to make sure we kind of lessen the impact on the child. And that'll just be for 4 visits. After you complete those 4 visits, then you have the whole weekend. So it'll be from Friday at 6 until Sunday at 6. If you want to do the exchange location at the McDonald's, that's fine with me. But Miss Saavedra, if you don't show up, he's going to go to your residence. That's the way it's going to work. So if that's what you want to do, then you need to show up on the times that you're supposed to go there. Um, the excuse me, just what I was thinking. Um, I need you, Mr. Martinez, I need you to text her the day before that you're intending to do your visitation, just in case you're not going to be on the regular with your visitation. Sounds like you have an intent to do it regularly, but just so that we're sure, um, as far as that you're going to be there and that she has to go to the McDonald's, just text her, say, I'm just doing my visitation this weekend. Doesn't have to be anything else. And that way she knows. She doesn't have to respond, but at least she'll know. Let's see. All right, so this is the 5th weekend of the month. That doesn't always happen. So usually it's going to be just first and third weekends. There's a couple of months of the year where there's a 5th weekend, and August is one of those months. So this weekend it'll be the Saturday. I'm sorry, I don't think I said that. Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Um, Y'all gonna meet at the McDonald's. You don't have to stay at the McDonald's, Mr. Martinez. You can go anywhere else, and then you need to come back to the McDonald's on time. I would recommend you not be late, at least definitely for the first visit, and uh, and then the next weekend after that will be the first weekend of September. So they'll be kind of, just because of this weird circumstance where there's a 5th weekend in August, you'll have 2 weekends in a row, which will be good for the child. That way they kind of have a little more frequent visits before we go into the full weekend. After that, it'll be a weekend off, and then it'll be so the we're doing visitation September 6th on Saturday. September 13th, there's no visits, and then we're going to 20th. After that, it'll just kind of be every other weekend. You need to look at your calendar, look for the first Friday of the month, and that'll kind of tell you that's the first weekend of the month, and then you just count every other weekend. And like I said, it'll be a little simpler after this part, which kind of works to the advantage for the child, I think, in a way too, because we'll get more visitation. Um, let's see. So tomorrow, or I guess Friday or Thursday or Friday, even today, you could say, I want to do my visits. You're gonna have to wait till the last minute, and that way you can do that. If you got to work, obviously you're gonna say you're not gonna say anything, and then she's not gonna show up. Okay, don't just show up and without giving her notice. The For child support, the child support is $343 a month. That's what it should be based on your income. You quit your job and you don't have another job, it's still 343. Okay, so I don't usually look to having a decrease unless there's a really good reason and you quitting your job is not going to be a good reason. So it needs to be $343 a month. Um, need to make sure you pay it if they don't take it out of your check. That'll be beginning September 1st. You have the whole month to pay it, so it's not going to be overdue on the 2nd. You have all of September to make your payment, and it won't be overdue until October.
I
Sometimes at
can
the
make
very
payments.
beginning, people fall behind because the withholding order takes a little while to get issued, especially since it's the last week of August. But if you don't have it taken out, you need to send it in. The child support office will send you a court order. It'll have the address of where you can send in payments, and that's where you need to send in payments. Do not send payments directly to the mother because you will not get credit for those payments. For medical support, I'm setting it at 120 instead of the 195, and that'll be paid by you, Mr. Martinez. If you find insurance in the future through your employer that's cheaper, or you want to do it instead of, then you definitely can enroll the child and give the mother a copy of the insurance card, and then you can call the Attorney General's office, and they can stop trying to take out the 120. 120 is not too much, so I'm not sure you'll find anything cheaper, but that's an option that you have later on. But we need to make sure they want to confirm that you have insurance, the child's already enrolled, and the child's off of Medicaid. So you've got to follow the first couple steps yourself before we can even consider doing something different. Court cost bill to Mr. Martinez. The Attorney General's office is going to put this all in a court order in writing. It'll have more specifics of what I'm ruling today, and they should be emailing you that in the next couple of days. I'm not sure if we'll get there before Friday, but just make sure we have understanding that this Saturday we're meeting at the McDonald's at 10 a.m. for the visits. That's really the most important thing you need to know. Ms. Saavedra, you're not working on Saturday, are you?
No, but I do have to work the first Saturday of September, but if I have to make adjustments to my work schedule, then that's fine.
Okay. You don't have to be there. If someone can help you take the child to deliver the child, that's okay too. I'm assuming you leave the child with somebody, so you can also leave the child, make sure that they know that they've got to take the child to McDonald's. Okay. All right. That's all then. That'll be the order. They'll email you that. You're done with court. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
Thank you.
The judge makes that crystal clear. Medical support reduced slightly, set at $120 instead of $195. Payments must go through official channels. No direct payments to the mother. Visitation schedule carefully explained. First Saturday, 10 a.m. sharp at McDonald's. Then gradual transition into alternating weekends. Structured calendar instructions given. No confusion allowed. The judge emphasizes responsibility, communication, and follow-through. And just like that, the hearing ends. Zoom call closes. Orders will be emailed. But for this father, this isn't just paperwork. This is the first real chance in a year and a half to finally see his son.